Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. I've gotten a lot of requests to continue this 14 game ladder series between Rain and ZeLoT. So you know what? Here we are. We're going to dive in and do some more games. Hope that you guys are enjoying these games and yeah, get ready for a lot of Zerg vs. Protoss because we've only done 4 of them so far. To catch you up if you missed this, basically just this, I mean, this is super rare, guys. I mean, I think I've had maybe 5 games in a row against the same person. And obviously as you get higher on the ladder, you can get repeats more often, but this is the most I've ever seen. Rain and ZeLoT literally queued into each other 14 times in a row on the ladder. I have no idea what the final score is going to be at all. It's crazy to me that they kept going. I think a lot of players would have just been like, yeah, I'm pretty bored of this matchup or playing this player. But right now it is tied up 2-2. You can find those previous 4 games on the channel if you just type in ZeLoT or Rain or whatever, anything like that. You should be able to find it pretty darn easily. But here we are. We're in game number 5 right now. And I've put a little scoreboard in the bottom right for you so that you can kind of keep track. And really, honestly, so I can keep track as well. So anyways, we're on La Campanella. We have ZeLoT here in the top right. And looking down here, we have a Forge fast expansion with the double probe scout, right? This is pretty common because you want to scout in 2 different directions. And he's checking to see if there's any creep in here. And then he'll turn around. Sometimes you'll actually see a cannon rush. And in fact, on this map, this might be very strong. I could see him pulling over here, making a pylon, jumping over and making cannons behind, right? I think if it was close spawn and it had been a hatchery first, I think for sure he would have gone for something like that. Here, I'm not as sure. It is, honestly, I think it'll still work. You know, there are some abusive things you can do in these spots. And he sees the hatchery, but he doesn't try to jump behind. So maybe I'm off on that. I guess he won't try to do that. Or, yeah, well, I mean, he still could. He still has time, but definitely wanted to get the Nexus up. Checks that pool timing and everything. The thing is, as soon as he sees the hatchery, he knows already. And, yeah, the drone just kind of waiting here. Now, you might be wondering, why does he have a drone that's just sitting here? This can block if the probe comes down and try to make a pylon. Like, you can, if the probe is up here, you just kind of get there, right? There's a few spots where you could put the pylon down and make the probe jump. So I think that's what he's doing. He's just being very careful because he doesn't want that to occur. So yeah, he's got the drone down here and we'll see if the probe comes. He should start mining with that, obviously. But yeah, as some lings get started up here, the window of opportunity for this type of cannon rush has left. You can always hop lings over with a drone and cancel out a cannon pretty quickly. So anyways, there you have it. That's not going to occur. I think that could have been a very cool move. I want to say I must have seen that. I must have seen that one time on this map. I feel like I remember seeing it. So yeah, I'm sure someone has tried it at some point. Now the probe going to be, you know, just trying to stay alive. And look at this. He throws the Hydralisk Den down in the face of Rain here. I love it because it, like, you don't have to do the rush. Generally, if you see the Hydralisk Den, though, you will have at least 6 Hydras made. You know, we have some of these builds right now where you go over and you just knock down the wall. There is actually a new Hydra range rush build that utilizes more Zerglings that I've seen only a couple times, really. Here, it is going to be speed, and that's the normal for a 3-hatch Hydra. You want that speed upgrade so the Hydras can just get right across the map. Now, there is one Hydralisk being made while he's finishing up his drones. And, yeah, he does need a few more drones here, as we can see. Probe's still staying alive. He just wants a view of any Hydras that are popping out. And the thing is, when you see this as well, he is making a Stargate. And I'm not too surprised. Like, honestly, in my mind, I like when they skip Stargate. Like, in a situation like this, what I would like to see is like 3-gate or 4-gate Citadel and just going heavier ZeLoTs, right? In fact, I remember seeing a build a long time ago, several ASLs ago, and in fact, I want to say Shuttle did it, where he saw the Hydra build and he went Speedlot Reaver, which I thought was a brilliant counter. He just smashed the Zerg player because he had such a ground-pounding force. But Rain kind of plays his own way, and he likes to have Corsairs even against a build like this because he is so active with them and loves to knock out Overlords consistently throughout the game. Now, Hydralisk speed is done. Range is on the way. Some Hydras are coming down right now. The placement of these buildings and cannons, he can't really gun down any of the buildings without range. He can probably hit like 3 Hydras or so, can probably hit this gateway without being hit by anything. When he gets range, that'll change. You can see he's actually lining up for range to finish and starting to get hits. Okay, those photon cannons have insane range. So you really do have to be careful at that because they will gun down your Hydra super fast. Now, where is that? Okay. He actually should probably move these over here and save this. The Overlord taking a lot of damage, but he's spent a lot of time lining these up nicely. So they are lined up nicely. He brings this out. The Citadel is being made, and he is actually going up to those 4 gates I was talking about before. So 4-gate speed is on the way, and of course he does have that Corsair for scouting as well. Now, this is a beautiful line of Hydralisks, by the way, and he's actually just going to run in and target down these cannons. Oh my god, look at that. Targeting the cannons down so quickly, and in fact, he is going to end up killing all of them. This might be a very quick game, guys. Oh my god, just bust through, and despite the fact that Rain knew about it, honestly, I think he's dead. Like, any Zerg worth his salt here can win this game. And he's just going to move forward, attack these cannons. Honestly, any Zerg, like, D rank and above wins. Okay, on to the next game. All right, so getting into game number 6. We're on Dark Origin. And as you can see, it's a delayed scout Forge Fast expansion here. And he's just going to scout to see if he needs to go cannon first or Nexus first. We can see that this is an overpool opening, so I do believe he has to make a cannon, but we'll see about that. A lot of times with these overpool openings, they honestly just keep making drones and make 2 links only. Now, the probe coming up, and, you know, gonna be able to scout this, and Rain is someone who has worked a lot on the timings of exactly what you see and what you can pull off. I know that nowadays a lot of people are going like 12 Nexus 12 Forge for a Nexus first build. He actually was the first player that I saw go 11 Nexus 11 Forge on some other maps back in KSL season several years ago, and kind of helped to drive that forward a little bit. And it looks like he does have that timing down. Obviously, like, Rain is going to know these timings much better than I, where it's like, okay, it's an overpool, and then you have to take into consideration the actual rush distance of the map, not just the, normally we measure rush distance either from the natural to the natural or the ramp to the ramp. But in this case, you actually need to know from the hatchery to the wall, right? So this is something that every Protoss player has to actually measure for every single map. And every race has stuff like that they need to know. I would say that this is probably the most precise out of everything, is these very fast Forge expansions, where you have to know literally exactly what it is and what you can get away with. Anyways, it is a 3-hatch opener, obviously, at those 3 different bases, gas on the way. Will we have another Hydra bus? It's kind of funny, right? Like, we've had very Hydra based play now for a bit after the first 3 games being only Ling all-ins, and I do have to wonder if Rain ends up starting to beat the Hydralisk all-ins. Yeah, there it is. Will ZeLoT then move to Mutas? Or will he go back to Lings? And if he goes to Mutas and the Mutas start not working, will he go to Hive Tech? I don't know. But it's really interesting to see the most aggressive Zerg pro gamer adapt and try to get past the defenses of the player, in my opinion, who is the smartest Protoss player out there. So +1 on the way, ZeLoT being made. The probe's still kind of microing around, trying to scout what it can, but the 3 Lings are doing a good job of zoning that probe out. So, you know, he doesn't know for sure whether this is a lair, whether this is a Hydralisk den, or whatever it might be. Now, there is a ZeLoT coming up across the map. Now, the ZeLoT is going to be, like, this is him kind of forcing... Oh, he actually already snuck one out while I was talking about that other stuff, so that's nice. Oh my god, he gets a drone. Really nice. but doesn't get good scouting intel. Now, one thing, he sees 5 drones over here, right? So, yeah, I guess that doesn't tell you much because this was the second hatchery, right? So it's like 9 drones, 7 drones, 3 drones is how it's supposed to go, but it doesn't really matter. You can mess with the numbers at both. This ZeLoT looks like it did turn around, and this probe moved up and actually got hit by a Hydra. So he knows Hydras are on the way. He does have the Stargate on the way. He does have the Citadel. So those 2 things are the same. He's adding 2 more cannons. We saw that in the previous game as well, getting those 3 cannons very, very quickly. Now, will ZeLoT just do the same thing, right? Where he makes the row of Hydras, waits for range, then comes in and hits the cannons down. Because it was like perfectly done in that previous game. I was actually pretty surprised that it ended so suddenly. But yeah, we'll see about that. A couple Hydras sitting at home here. I think these are maybe anti-Corsair Hydras, if I had to guess. I think they will be pulled up to engage in a little bit. A couple more cannons on the way here for Rain, so he is being very careful. This ZeLoT trying to hit this 3rd base location. Of course, the Hydra's going to be able to push him back. And he sees that the drone count is not significantly high there. 5 there. And in fact, we have 4 here. So, and that's 9. So he's actually just 1 drone off of what we call it a 973. 9 drones at the first base, 7 drones at the second base, 3 drones at the last base. What matters is having 1 drone per mineral patch for optimization purposes. You mine the most off of 1 per patch. And then, yeah, just having the right amount overall. So anyways, the Hydras are getting over here. A little bit of a formation going down. Starting to hit the wall. Corsair goes up. I think at this point, if he sees any more Hydras coming, see, he sees more Hydras, you have to add more cannons. And he is adding some more cannons here. That forge does look like it's probably going to go down. Yeah, maybe if he sends these out, but they'll probably die. I feel like you just let this go. Ooh. He doesn't get it. That was so close. He lost a lot of health for it too. I feel like there's a lot of Protoss players, like everyone is a little bit hemming and hawing about that always. Like we saw him take a decent amount of damage. It would have been better to lose 2 and get it, or take no damage and lose it, right? So it feels like you have to really zoom in on exactly what you want to do. Now, this is a lot of Hydras coming down, but Rain has made a ridiculous amount of cannons. Look at this, 9 photon cannons. He's adding more gates, double forge in the main, which I absolutely love to see. The double forge is a great counter to this, as you'll get your 1-1 at the regular time, and then you have 2-2 faster than you would normally have it. And you can afford to do that because your opponent's layer is so late. You're not really afraid of mutas at this time. Now, this is a lot of Hydralisks, and this is a lot of ZeLoTs. The ZeLoT leg upgrade, I believe, is actually already done. So if these Hydras try to come up, I think Rain just holds pretty easily. I think, like, it looks like a lot of Hydras. If there were not ZeLoTs here, the Hydras would bust this. But with the speed upgrade on these ZeLoTs, like, yeah, I don't think that there's much of a chance here for the Hydras to break through. And you can see ZeLoT agrees. He's actually droning up at home. Macro hatchery, layer, +1 ranged attack. He's going to want to add more hatcheries here as well. Now, will he go? Oh, crazy. Okay, so he starts the lurker upgrade and gets Overlord speed. Okay, so Overlord speed just makes sense. Like, you just want to have Overlord speed in case of Dark Templars and things like that. But to go directly into lurkers, I was going to pose the question, do we see a Spire? Right? Because your opponent's focusing more heavily on ZeLoTs, which means he'll focus heavily on High Templars here as well. There's not a good Corsair count. Maybe the Mutalisk switch can be a strong one. That's definitely something we've seen from a lot of pro Zergs. But as is, he's going for very fast lurker, which is actually going to be a pretty good counter here, honestly. Right? There's no robo. There's no robo started. So, like, if you get a row of lurkers here, it slows Rain down by, like, what? I don't know the exact robo build time, but it's like 1.5 minutes, you know? It's pretty crazy the amount of time that you'll slow him down by. It's probably 50 seconds for the robo, 19 seconds for observatory. So now you're already at 1 minute and 10 seconds, and then you got to wait for the observer to build. So yeah, that's a lot of time you're buying yourself with that upgrade. Pretty fantastic. You can see a ton of drones being made as well. You know, Psystorm is on the way, so he's going to have 2 Psystorms available. Ooh, I like it. Jumps the DT over the mineral field. So that DT is going to be out in the map, and ZeLoT has no idea. He has 0 clue about that. Now drops are on the way, and the robo did get started, so he's just kind of looked at this situation and read it and said, you know what, there's going to be lurkers. Now he comes out just before the lurkers run, so this is perfect timing. That's a great size storm going down. Another storm goes down, and that one's pretty good as well, to be honest. The lurkers burrow, and the zealots are able to get out before that. So now we have a DT on the map. Oh my god, killing a ton of drones. The zealots run by everything and go up towards the main. This game may end very quickly here. This is looking like an absurd amount of damage. Now he splits off a group of these zealots to fight the hydras. That will give time to some of these to fight elsewhere. He does make a lurker egg on the ramp, which allows only 2 zealots to get up, and they are pretty low on health. The DT gonna swipe back in here to this third base. Oh, this is terrible news for ZeLoT. This is really, really bad right now. Look at the amount of drones he's losing. Oh my god, 12 to that DT. These two zealots are getting so much damage. He has less drones than he had during the initial Hydra rush. Okay, this is very bad. Extremely, terribly bad here for ZeLoT. Rain is crushing face. So right now he's got 8 gates in his main base. He's got double forge, although he didn't start 2-2. He's just focusing right now on that Dragoon production. Obviously, he needs observers. He has 4 High Templars, which is exactly the amount you want here. A few Zealots popping out, as he doesn't have gas to support 8 goons at a time all the time, as well as observers. Starts at +2 armor. Cares about it more than the +2 attack. That's pretty normal. This is something that we actually see from most Protoss players now. They like those armor upgrades. Really helps against Mutalisk switches. Gives you a little bit more sustain in your army as well. But yeah, now he's going to start knocking out some of these cannons, which is absolutely something you have to do. You need a nice, clean exit path, okay? You don't want your units being slow at all at getting out of the base. Now, tons of units being made by Rain. He is way up in supply. ZeLoT has remade about 17, 18 drones from where he fell down to. So he hasn't made many more units. He's really been spending on rebuilding his economy. And as this observer comes up and he clears these lurkers, ZeLoT's in some trouble. ZeLoT does not have that much. But we have a drop coming in. Don't forget, right? That this is what ZeLoT was upgrading earlier as well. And he's going to knock out that cannon immediately. But unfortunately for him, there are double observers coming up. So he is going to lose those. He did kill... Oh, God, there was one here as well. And he killed a hell of a lot of probes with that. Look at that, 31 workers left. So the double drop tricks both me and Rain. Rain loses a lot of probes, and I lose a lot of respect from the people in the YouTube comments who hate when I miss things. But that is the way it is. These pro gamers are very fast. So an excellent double drop here from ZeLoT. Now, over the bridge comes Rain. Rain must counterattack. He's taken way too much damage, but he has a very strong standing army. His army should be better than what ZeLoT has right now, and he needs to capitalize on that. Now, he loses his High Templars as he comes across, which is normally really key for Zerg. But there's a lot of Zealots and a lot of Dragoons in here. So I think he's got enough that he can actually just bludgeon his way in. He gets in on top of this rally point. We'll start attacking these Hydras. The Dragoons get up. He needs to get over this bridge. This is crucial here. Get over this bridge so your Zealots can fight as well. Zealots going to the natural, and GG is called. And that means we're tied up 3-3. Thanks for watching.